3.5 years ago, I packed 2 suitcases and moved to Spain, telling myself I would give it a chance and see if it works for me. 3 years later, I am still here, but not for the reasons I expected, and not without a long list of things I wish someone had told me before I moved here. Today, I am going to tell you what I genuinely love about Madrid, what nearly made me leave more than once, and at the end, my honest verdict on who Madrid is right for and who might want to think twice. Before I get into it, my name is Dunja. Welcome to Dunja in Spain. I've been living abroad for 10 years now, and I've been in Spain since January 2023. Spain and Madrid were never really my initial plan. I landed in Spain, in Sevilla first, and I lived there for about 6 months. And I eventually ended up in Madrid in summer 2023. And I've been here ever since. Madrid wasn't some long planned dream for me. It happened because my partner, now my husband, had a job here. It really was an accidental choice more than a decision I carefully mapped out, which in a way makes the last 3 years even more honest test of the city. I didn't really pick Madrid. It was not a result of a long research or a bucket list. I just ended up here and had to figure out whether I actually like the city and if it worked for me or not. If you're interested in knowing more about life in Spain and staying updated about life of internationals here, subscribe to my channel right now. So now let's get into it. Part number 1, what I actually love about Madrid. Let's start with the good, because there is a lot of it, and it's the reason why I am still here. Madrid is big enough that there's always something happening. A concert, an exhibition, a rooftop bar, a street festival you randomly stumble into on a Tuesday. 3 years in, I still discover new neighborhoods I hadn't properly explored. That scale means the city never quite runs out of things to offer, no matter how long you've lived here. And despite being a capital and home for around 3.5 million people, Madrid has this slower rhythm that surprised me. Long lunches, late dinners, terraces full of people just sitting and talking with no rush to be anywhere. Compared to other major European capitals, prices here for eating out, for a night with friends, for everyday life are genuinely more reasonable, especially in neighborhoods that are not right in the city center. It's not cheap. We'll get to that, but reasonable for a city of this size and this much going on. Then there is the expat community, and honestly, this is one of the biggest reasons why the last couple of years did not feel lonely. Madrid pulls people from everywhere. And I met close friends from my own country or neighboring countries. I also have friends from Americas, from other parts of Europe, from Africa, all brought here for very different reasons and diverse life circumstances. In addition, some of my closest friends here are also Spanish people, and these people really made me feel welcome from the very beginning when I arrived here. And something that I would really like to point out, don't feel discouraged if it takes you a while to find your community here. It took me almost a year and a lot of trial and error in between until I started making real, meaningful, strong friendships. And this process usually takes time. That's all part of the international journey. And practically speaking, Madrid is one of the best possible home bases if you actually want to explore Spain. It's around 1 hour to Toledo or to Segovia, for example. A weekend at the coast is just a couple of hours away. A short flight to the Canary Islands or again, a couple of hours to Andalusia, Basque Country, Galicia, Aragon, Catalonia, everywhere. Madrid is also well connected with the rest of Europe and the world. It has one of the largest airports in Europe, which makes it easy for me to go visit my family that is in Serbia and Germany, or to go see my friends, mostly in Austria, but also in many other countries around the world. Part number 2, where it gets complicated or difficult. So the downsides is the part that actually makes people leave. First, the job market. On paper, Madrid has one of the biggest, most diverse job markets in Spain. In practice, breaking into it as a foreigner is genuinely difficult in a lot of fields. And I know this especially from science and research. Who you know matters more than your work experience most of the time. Positions get filled through personal networks before they are even posted publicly. And then some of them get posted due to the legal obligations, but this only makes uninformed potential applicants waste their time. It's a pattern. A lot of people who have moved here for work end up describing in the same way. The opportunities exist, but access to them isn't as open as the job listings make it look. And even once you are earning, the numbers don't always add up, which brings us to another problem. It's the salaries in Madrid. Compared to the costs of living here, it's simply tight. This isn't just my impression. It's one of the most consistently repeated complaints among people who have relocated here for work, and official statistics can confirm it. And this is also not just a problem of foreigners in Madrid, but everybody who lives here. The average salary in Madrid right now is somewhere around 2,300 euros per month, while minimum living costs that only include the most basic things like the rent, the bills, food, and some other, again, very basic items are close to 2,000 euros. I have a recent video on that topic and I will leave the link into the description if you are interested in knowing more about living costs in Madrid. Then, the housing. If I had to pick the single hardest part of the living in Madrid in general, it's this. Prices have gone up fast and availability hasn't kept the pace. And the process itself can feel very difficult and isolating. Viewing after viewing, competing against a dozen of other applicants for the same flat, sometimes needing paperwork and guarantees that are genuinely hard to produce, to provide as a newcomer. It's not just expensive, it's also frustrating and exhausting. If you need professional help on the housing topic, write to me. You have several options for that in the description, and I will give you a recommendation for a professional who helps you find your own place. Personally, I ended up preferring life outside the very center. It's less noise, less crowd, and the neighborhoods actually feel more like Spanish living rather than basically touristic amusement park, what city center lately has been, but that has its own price. A lot of these outer neighborhoods are visibly less maintained. This includes poorer trash collection, street cleaning, general upkeep. It noticeably drops the further you move from the center. And that's a downside that doesn't show up in glossy Madrid life content you usually see online. So, was it worth it? My Honest answer is yes. 3 years in, I still love living in Madrid and I don't regret the move. But it comes with conditions. And I think it's more useful to tell you these conditions specifically than to just say it's great and leave it there. Madrid is a probably great fit for you if you are drawn to the big city energy, but don't want the sky high price tag of London or Paris. It's also great if you want a genuine, easy to find international community without giving up the chance to build real connections and friendships with locals. If you value a slower daily rhythm, long lunches, terrace culture, and an evening that doesn't feel rushed. And it's good for you if you want a base to explore the rest of Spain properly, not just one city. Madrid might not be the right fit if you are relying on the job market to open doors for you quickly, especially in competitive and specialized fields. Be ready for it to take time and for connections to matter more than you would expect. If your budget is tight because the gap between salaries and costs of living here is real and it catches a lot of people off guard, you might need to think about it as well if a smooth, low stress housing search matters to you because right now it genuinely isn't one. 3 years later, I still choose Madrid, but I make the choice aware of Madrid downsides. And that's really the point of this video, not to sell you this city or Spain in general, but to give you the full picture before you make the decision yourself. If any of this resonated, if you are seriously considering to move to Madrid or somewhere else in Spain, and you don't want to go through the same trial and error as I did, I actually help you with exactly this. I work with people one on one on finding their footing in Spain, figuring out if a city or region is the right fit, finding a place to actually live, and providing all needed steps to take before the move or after the move. And I also collaborate with trusted contacts who help with things like medical insurance, renting and buying properties, and navigating the Spanish administration. The paperwork trips up almost everyone in the first few months of being here, sometimes even years. So, if you want advice, even just a simple question about what makes sense for your situation, reach out anytime. Details are in the description for the contact, and I read and reply to every message. If this video helped you get a more honest picture of life here, subscribe. I am covering more of the real, unfiltered side of life in Spain. Also, check out my other social networks and let me know in the comments what's the one thing you would want to know before moving to Madrid. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.